Yeah. So, what's interesting is I've had friends who have said, dude, I would love to come on this podcast. And the reason why they don't come on is because they're afraid that their companies that they work for, which obviously are corporate companies, it doesn't really matter, right? It could be big, small, medium sized, but they're afraid that their bosses might see it and take some approach to it that is very negative, and it would literally impact their occupation.
Not even that. It's like their social ability, just like making friends or like the reputation.
Yeah, just everything, I guess.
People are just like really scared to come on to like say what they speak or just like fight for what they believe in. Did you notice that?
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the generation, man. I mean, even the podcast that we were doing just now before like this one, we were talking, and then at the start you're like a little bit shy to like speak like what you actually thought, right? Then I was like, yo, like we gotta speak like what we actually think, or else it's just gonna be a boring ass podcast.
It's not about it just being boring, right? It's just you have to think about it like this. Like, it's not easy to just speak your mind, right? Because especially when you go through an experience like that, okay, where you literally just said the truth or spoke your mind, and then like all of a sudden people get offended.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, who likes any sort of negativity coming their way? Nobody, right?
Yeah.
Debatably. But, when you come on here, you come on to what? Say the truth. Say how you feel. Be open-minded. Be transparent, right? That's the whole point of this podcast.
Otherwise, there's like no point, because like people come on and they try to be like neutral as possible, but you see all the people out there who make it big. It's like the people who actually say things with depth. It's like maybe you could say something that's like really wrong to like one person, but it's really right to another person, and that's what sets people straight. Because like maybe someone's like teaching you how to be very masculine when you're too much of a bitch, and so like you need that extra masculinity to like straighten out. Of course, you're not going to be like Andrew Tate, where you're going to be like super, super masculine like that. Or you're not going to be like the female version, maybe like a Kim Kardashian, where she sets you like super like boss babe.
Yeah.
But I think people like certain topics like that, and they don't like topics where it's super neutral, because if they see something neutral, they don't see a point of like straightening out. Like, because if they're all the way like this, and then they watch someone like this, they end up becoming like in the middle of that. You know what I mean?
Well, they put themselves in the middle of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like to try to, I don't know, maybe squeeze that other side towards the middle, or
Yeah.
Because they can't. It's one of those weird things where they feel like their opinion is so strong and so correct that it has to be that way. When in reality, hey, I have friends that I don't align exactly every single one of my values with, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just like how you can be a Democrat and how you can have friends that are Republican, and you guys just don't talk politics. It's that simple. But of course, when this is America, and this should be like the land of the free, and you should have your own right to judgment and opinion, right to vote.
Yeah.
People always take offense to that, and that's just something that I don't understand. It honestly pisses me off.
Here's the thing, man.
It's not right. It's not right.
I'm going to be very honest. I lost a lot of friends because of this podcast. You know what's funny?
Wait. Are you serious?
I'm being serious. I've lost a lot of friends. But here's the thing. Here's the killer.
Okay.
Once I found out they're like that, I'm like, I'm so glad you got out of my fucking life.
100%.
It's like this. If you let a podcast or opinions get between your friendship, I'm not the one that initiated cutting them off as a homie.
They did.
They cut me off.
They did.
Because they're like, hey, you said this on your podcast. Most of them were girls, by the way. Because this podcast is a lot about like talking for Asian men.
That's right.
So, of course, we're going to be talking about things that matter for men out there in general.
Okay.
And it's from a perspective how men look at it. It's obviously not a perspective how women look at it. And
Wait, I need an example, though.
What's that?
I need an example, like a real life example of like one of your
Here's a
female friends cutting you off.
Sure. So we talked about one where it's about not me and you, but then me and another friend.
Yeah.
We talked about how dating in the East is a lot better than
Like the
dating
East
in
Coast?
West. No.
Oh,
Dating-
we
like
talked about
Taiwan.
that too, though.
No, we never got an episode on that.
We did.
No, we never had like an actual legit episode with like dating girls.
We did, dude. No.
Really?
Yeah. Remember the last one? Last time I was on, right?
Really?
It was about how like the women pay for you. Remember?
Swear.
Yes.
I think we did.
Yeah.
Right.
It was about like.
I've done that a couple times that I probably forgot.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyways, so I'm just saying. Sure. Okay, me and you, we did that. All right, but this was eons ago. This is one of the first podcasts I did, and right away, instantly, so a female friend of mine, she goes like, "Hey, I saw what you said in the podcast."
Okay.
And she starts debating me.
Okay.
I'm like, I really don't want to get in this rut with you, but okay. I mean, this is my opinion
You put me
and
in
my
a rut.
experience. Yeah. I mean, this is what men really go through. Like we go through women in here in the West where they don't really want to pay for us men. And I'm not saying like, hey, pay for us men, but it's to a point where if it's a small thing that we need help with, they still don't want to pay for us. Like for example, I pay 10 meals. Okay. We're at a boba shop. I go like, hey, I forgot my wallet. She'll go like, oh, let's go back and get it. She won't go like, oh, it's okay, I got it. You know? And then you start thinking, how selfish is this girl? And so this female friend that I was talking to, she didn't see it that way because obviously she's not dating women. All right. And so we got into this whole argument. Didn't end good. She's not my friend anymore. Okay.
And no, were you close with her though?
Like I was close with her, but
Wow.
I was happy that happened.
Of course. It's really refreshing to have like,
Look,
you know.
anyone has their opinions.
Yeah.
A lot of guys out there have the same opinion as me. You probably have the same opinion too. I mean, I think we talked about it on the podcast.
I do, and actually, yeah. I do.
Your female friends are gonna argue with you on that.
No. I don't give a fuck what they think. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. All right. That's why I'm here.
It's just the truth, you know. I mean,
Yeah, I don't care.
based on our experiences, it's the truth. I mean, if a lot of men feel that and they experience that, that's the truth, right? And so you can't really deny the facts. But if people are gonna sit there and say, "Hey, that's not the truth," and live in this fantasy world and penalize me for speaking the truth, I don't want you in my life anyways.
Yeah.
So get the fuck out. I'm happy that happened.
Yeah.
That happened with a couple other people. And here's another example. I'll just get into it really brief. It's me talking about Gen Zs. And truth be told, a lot of these Gen Z friends I have, almost 90% of my Gen Z friends, they're lazy. And they have really piss poor communication. So I did an episode on talking about like Gen Zs and like the problem with them. And some of them were not happy. Of course, like we had some arguments as well, and then it didn't end good too. But look, I think the fact that what you do, it's good. The fact that how we speak up, how you're not afraid to come on the podcast is great, because so many people out there are scared to fight for what they believe in, to talk about what they believe in, because they just want to just live life like, I want to be in a very nice corporate job and not have issues. Dude, that's the pussy way out.
Seems kind of fake, right? Seems fake.
Here's the thing.
You know.
I work for corporate.
Yeah.
No one found my videos, you know? I mean, even if they found
Even
my
if
videos.
they did, what are they gonna do?
Look, like
What are
we
they gonna
have this whole like DEI, we have this like equal opportunity type shit. It's like you can speak your mind, and
That's even more equal.
you can't
Actually.
yeah, you can't have your employer cancel you for it. If anything, I'm actually playing it smarter than other people. It's like I'm beating the system. And people who are just like scared, they're like, "Oh, my employer's gonna." Do you think they give a fuck about you? It's like, I don't know. I feel like now we have this society that everyone's just scared to talk about what they actually believe in.
100%.
Asian men in particular too, man.
Oh,
You know,
they're number one.
Asian
They are
men
number one on the list.
Have you ever seen like Reddit? Do you go on Reddit or no?
I did, but like it honestly just pissed me off.
Who do you think is comprised of Reddit? Like Asian
Okay.
men, white men, black men.
I would assume a mix of, well, for sure Asian men. Right?
That's
Like,
exactly what I was getting at.
I mean, but you know, I would assume like a decent amount of Caucasian men too.
Yeah.
But like just very nerdy, sort of like people that think they know it all, right? So like
Yes.
they make some snarky ass comment to get like all the likes and the
Yes.
responses, right? It kind of seems like in that format.
But then they have like an account where like no one knows who this is, and then they're just like trying to protect themselves. They're protecting their identity.
I mean, you don't even
all
have
these
the
Asian
image of
dudes.
themselves. You have the little like what is it, like a little bot thing
Yeah,
or whatever?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
come on, get
stupid,
out of
man.
here.
It's-
Get out of here.
They're so scared, man, because
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I'm an Asian guy, and then I have a job. I need to protect my job, and I can't say things. And then they use this troll account,
Yeah.
to say whatever they believe in, and it's like, bro, get on a pod, let's debate, you know. But no one has the balls for that.
I would love for them to get on the pod. This is an open invitation. Even though I don't have any piece of this pod, hop on. Right? If you are a Reddit user, get on the pod. Let's get you
debate
on.
Jono.
Let's get you on. No, don't
debate
debate
Jono.
me. Debate the host, man.
I mean, do you think another reason why you're not really scared to talk about things is because you're also an entrepreneur? Like you do your own stuff.
Okay, to be fair, I think that has a lot to do with it. But at the same time, if I were to work the jobs I've worked in the past, I would still be doing the same thing.
Serious.
I swear to
That's
God.
balls deep. That's respectable.
Dude, no one is going to change me, right? A paycheck is not going to change me.
Yeah.
$120,000, $121,000, $123,000 a year, whatever I was making, is not going to change me, right? And change what I believe in. And what we're saying is not. If you take offense to it, go ahead, go ahead, like, right?
It's strange because like, you know, the earlier podcast I was doing, I thought it was very safe, and I was playing it safe.
You did?
I did. I was like, okay, East versus West. I was very cautious the way I was framing it.
And
But
you
then
still pissed off people.
I still
off.
pissed off people. I'm like, okay.
So no matter what, you're gonna piss people off. So no, dude. I think that's the thing. No matter what, if you have a podcast
Yeah.
and you speak your mind, which, dude, if you have a podcast, people are gonna speak their mind.
Yes.
Okay. Either the host or the guest is gonna get some sort of slack.
Yes. Yes.
And the question to ask here is this. Let me take a fucking look at yourself. Are you a person that is afraid to come on and speak your mind to the world? Because if you are, then let's hear you. Let's hear it,
Yeah.
right? But they're not. They're not. They're you know. I mean, what do you know?
They're not gonna come on, man. I mean, I think the bigger question is: are you anyone that is held in high regard at all? Because like a lot of these people that are so scared of speaking their mind, they're nobodies, and they're just working their corporate job, getting paid like $50K a year.
I don't know about
change.
50, but
I mean, okay, 50. Let's say 80K.
okay.
All right, 100K.
Yeah.
You're still nobody at the end, right? I think the whole point of life is to make a name for yourself. That's just my personal opinion. Some people like to live day by day.
Yeah.
And they just, but I think for men, right? The biggest thing for us is to have a reputation, obviously make money, reputation, kind of be like family oriented. Okay.
Yeah.
So that would make us like valuable men. And I think if you're a guy out there who's just working a 9 to 5 and then you're just making 100K and you're too scared to like come on a pod and then you're just like, yeah, I don't want to get fired. Well, you're still nobody anyways. You know, even if you make like 150K, if
Doesn't
you make
change
200K,
anything.
it doesn't change anything. You know,
Doesn't change anything. Yeah. And no, and that's why I come on here. You know, like I don't just like decide to spend my time going on your pod.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like I really respect what you're doing because number one, like you speak your mind and you're not afraid of it. right? And number two, like, I think a lot of the arguments, like, they're actually really interesting. Like, I don't ever come on here, and you've had some very interesting guests on here. let's just call them interesting.
Very interesting.
Myself included. You could argue I'm a weird ass person, right? But I don't watch you guys and be like, oh, well, you know, I don't really like what Panda said here. I don't really like what this gets. No. Let me just hear both sides out.
Yeah.
Right? And let me just come to my own conclusions. I'm not going to be in the comment section talking shit. Fuck that. Fuck that.
That relates to like cancel culture too, right? That's why people are scared to talk about shit because they don't want to get canceled.
Cancel me. Let's see what happens.
I don't think you could get canceled.
I don't think it's possible. It's not possible. Well, you can get canceled as an entrepreneur, but okay.
You can, but not in your realm of what you do, I think.
You can't, yeah. You can't.
Yeah, the thing with cancel culture is that the people who speak their opinions and they get canceled, some of the opinions they say is not even that crazy, and they're still getting canceled, which relates to freedom of speech, right? Now, if we're going to look at people's opinions as what you said in a granular perspective and be like, we should all cancel this person because this person has this opinion. This person thinks all women should go make a sandwich and go cook and clean.
Yeah.
That's just his opinion. Look, there's so many girls out there online that say a bunch of shit about men. Like, men should pay for everything. And basically making it sound like men should be slaves to the women. Like, no matter what, he should endure all this torment. But we men, we don't go and start canceling women, you know?
I pay for everything anyway, so.
Yeah, so
if I'm able to.
in a sense, it's a lacking of freedom of speech.
And that's the saddest thing about it.
And if you give into that,
It's the saddest thing
you are
about it.
promoting the ideology of let's oppress freedom of speech. And if you don't fight back against that, you're accepting that.
And that goes back to the whole point of being woke, right? Like, it's just like, come on now, guys. Come on. Really?
Well, wokeism does definitely oppress freedom
of speech.
Yeah. And it definitely does oppress a lot of people.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of people scared to speak their mind, right? Which I think is really messed up. Yeah, I don't know what you think about that, but
No, I do.
yeah, I mean,
I actually had social anxiety for a period of time.
yeah,
Believe it or not, because like
No, I can see it.
Everyone sees that I'm a very social guy.
Yeah.
But for a period of time, like a couple years, I didn't know how to talk and be myself. And I would shake whenever I like talk to anyone that's like a stranger because I didn't want to say the wrong thing.
yeah,
I didn't want to make any jokes.
yeah,
Because if I made any jokes at all whatsoever, then it could be interpreted as like I'm racist. It could be interpreted as I'm a homophobe. Anything like that. Because literally, there's really minute things that I've said in the past that was far from being homophobic or racist, and it got interpreted in that way. I'll give you an example. I was like in Seattle, and I was very amazed. Oh, isn't there like gay bars around there? Because I was talking to a random guy on the train. I was like, oh yeah, there's a lot of gay bars. I think from my research, I saw that.
Yeah.
He was like, what do you have with gay people?
Oh, here we go.
And I was like, nothing. It was just an observation.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I Googled or whatever.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I just never seen a lot of gay bars in my life. And he's like, don't you live in LA? There's a West Hollywood. And, bro, I shit you not, when I was in college and below, okay, maybe high school I touched grass a lot, but then in college I barely touched grass because I was studying a lot.
Yeah,
And college is the only time that you could actually have the freedom to start exploring around like your city.
yeah,
But we still live an hour away from Los Angeles. And then if it's Hollywood, it's an hour 30 minutes.
yep.
So I never went to WeHo or even heard about it. And
Yeah.
I only started going to WeHo maybe when I was 26 years old.
Yeah, me too.
And I was like,
Yeah,
bro, like that time I was like 25.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this place exists. I mean, it was amazing though.
Yeah.
It's hella fun,
Bro, it's fun. Like,
it's amazing.
You get your ass. I'm not gay, by the way, but like you getting your ass grabbed is funny as shit.
I don't know if it's funny, all right, but
Look, I think if you're very comfortable with your straighthood, you could get your ass grabbed by fucking gay guys. Like, as long as they're not fucking putting you down and then starting like putting it in you, like, dude, I think it's fine, honestly. Like, you have to be very comfortable with that.
well, here's the thing. Like, the thing about going out in WeHo and why I think it's so amazing is like, first of all, these people party different.
They do.
You know, they're very not judgmental. They don't care, dude. They just go out, and when you're surrounded by wild people, you just start going, yeah, dude, this is lit, right?
Yeah.
So it's different. It's not like you in a really posh sort of,
But I'm sure if you have
Santa Monica bar or whatever.
I'm sure if you have a conversation with them, it's gonna go south. Like, they're fun to party with, but then when you have a combo, it's like, okay, you're homophobic.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I've had that happen. I mean, I used to live in San Francisco,
Yeah.
right? So Castro is one of the, it's an amazing place. You know, I mean, it stands for a lot, I think, in the U.S., like freedom, you know, ability to be yourself, right? And look, the gays and lesbians alike, like they've gone through a lot of shit, right?
They have,
like,
yeah.
They don't really deserve. But the Castro stands
also,
strong for that, you know?
we also don't deserve, like, just getting our voice canceled and the oppression of freedom of speech, right? It's like,
No, we deserve it.
two wrongs don't make a right, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But recently,
You're 100% correct.
Recently, I had a gay friend. He was like, well, what did you lose, Panda? I mean, you probably just feel like you can't talk that much, but these people are actually getting suicidal. I'm like, well, I mean, we have to draw the fine line. I mean, if it's starting to affect certain other people, is that really righteous? You know, now it's like we're throwing issues onto another demographic. You feel me?
I don't know. Maybe after this podcast, I'm going to feel really suicidal from the comments, and you'll never see me again. And Panda, you know, this channel might be deleted. It just disappear. You won't see anybody on here.
We might get canceled, bro. I mean, you can't get canceled. I'm gonna get canceled.
No, every person can get canceled, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, anyone can get canceled. But yeah. I just really, I mean, when you're trying to be honest and you're really not saying anything offensive, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think to wrap this up, I think when people are trying to start something big, you have to be controversial. You have to be extreme. Like, look at all these podcasts out there, right? We have one of the biggest ones, of course, that's like in like this whole masculinity space, Andrew Tate, right? There is this other girl. She's an Asian girl. She's Jasmine T. She says,
"Oh yeah,
completely opposite things of Andrew Tate," and she's like completely catering towards like the anti Andrew Tate crowd, and it's like pure diehard feminists. And so you look at these; they're so big, but then you don't see the neutral ones being big. Like, for example, if there was a podcast on education of Pokemon per se,
yeah,
no one's gonna give a fuck. Okay, like Bulbasaur is a grass Pokemon. No one gives a fuck about that.
Well, would you say yours is sort of in between?
Mine is definitely in between. That's why it has a little bit less likes and less subs. But like, look,
clearly people get offended by the in between then.
But
right.
But we could argue because like some people will say that it's extreme. Some people will be like, no, you're kind of red pill.
That's what I'm saying.
Sense. Like, you're saying that women in the East are better than women in the West. I'm just like, well, that's just the experience that I went through. Like, you can't honor my experience.
They
I
can't.
So they would say I'm extreme, but I personally think we're really neutral.
Oh, yeah, because we're not putting on an act, right? Like, to be extreme, I feel like, okay, maybe they aren't putting on an act and their mindset is just that crazy, right?
Yeah.
But no, they're deep down, they're putting on a little bit of an act.
Yeah.
Right?
But like, think about all the people out there, right? They actually believe they're neutral, and other people think they're neutral. That's so boring. That's what I'm saying. This whole point of this current episode is you have to speak your mind. You have to like be very passionate and say things that are controversial as fuck for podcasting, at least.
Yeah.
To grow.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're just gonna be like a nobody. And I don't know why people out there are trying to start shit, but they're completely neutral, completely boring. That's just like, bro, what's the point of this, man? You know?
Or your friend's trying to defriend, not be your friend over some small little thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
that they saw on the podcast.
look, like everyone's not gonna have the same exact opinion, but if you let that get between your friends, you're a bigot, you know?
Well, here's the thing. Like, you're also not meant to be friends. I mentioned this earlier, and I don't have the same values, like completely the same values as some of my really, really good friends. But here's the thing. Me and them, we have a mutual understanding of that. And it's totally fine. But once that understanding goes away, well, then it becomes a problem to where...
Then they're not worthy of being friends at that point.
Because what's the point, right? Friends are meant to always have your back no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? And you will have their back no matter what.
Yeah.
And no one is built the same way. That's just the truth, right? Like, you're always going to have a differing opinion than someone else, even if they're your best friend.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that. So I think people should really stop making it a big deal, because it's not. It's not a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like to like wrap this up, I just want to say, like, anyone out there who's like really afraid to speak up and really afraid to make their podcast or whatever type of content they want to do like extreme, you actually have to kind of make it extreme especially when you're giving like informational stuff, when you're speaking opinions, and don't be afraid to like lose out on some friends, because those friends were not meant to be there in the first place, man.
I agree.
And I always tell people all the time, anyone who's like scared to come on the podcast, I'm like asking people, hey, we need some guests. Do you want to come on the podcast? They're like, no, I'm too scared. I don't want to get canceled. And I'm like, well, you're doing this other side hustle, right? They're also trying to do content creation, by the way. But then they're being super neutral to a point that it's boring as fuck. I mean, I already consider this podcast pretty neutral. And I feel like we got to amp it up to very controversial, like, extremes. But I mean, that's not us, right? We're still going to be authentic.
It's not, yeah.
And like, if you remain neutral like that, you'll just end up just being bland, and it's not going to progress anywhere.
Yeah, so I studied law at UCSC, and obviously a very liberal school. And I've always saw myself as leaning more on the liberal side, but more moderate. And like in all my classes, there'd be someone who is conservative, and they're willing to speak up. And I swear, the whole classroom would fade towards them and give them shit, including the instructor. And I hated these people in the class, honestly, because all of a sudden you have one guy who's willing to speak up, hey, I want to hear what he has to say, at least.
Yeah.
Right? The bare minimum. So you consider that extreme, right? I mean, or whatever, but
yeah,
dude, like,
just differing point of views.
Yeah, and then you have all these fucking liberals who are speaking their mind, and everyone's secretly clapping under the table. Like, there's a vibe that I'm getting. Come on, guys. Like, let's play fair, right? You got to speak your mind. Why does this other person not get to say what they want to say? We don't even know what they're gonna say. We don't know. So,
I think the more important factor is like, not everyone's gonna have the same exact opinion. So like, you have to still respect other people's opinions, unless it's to a point where it's unethical. Like, for example, hey, let's round up some people and start like beheading them or something.
Yeah, and you think this guy would say something that stupid in a classroom where he's getting graded?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He's just trying to present something that he feels like is valuable to add on, right? That, hey, maybe just happens to be a different opinion than you guys. So what? I want to hear from everybody. I think that's really important. Yeah. So,
all right, man. Let's just wrap it up here. Thanks for everyone for watching, and thanks for Jono again for coming on and not being scared to say what he actually fucking believes.
I'm never coming on again.
You're gonna get canceled.
Yeah, no. After this one, I'm
You're not
off the face of the earth.
They're gonna round you up, bro.
I'm in big trouble.
They're gonna kidnap you. All those liberals from like UCSC, they're gonna go find you, bro.
Come after me.